Hi, everybody. Happy Yule. I'm saying hello to you online. I just finished saying hello to everybody who's here in the room. We've got quite a lovely crowd in the room. And now I'm with you. So we've got the totality of our group. I'm so happy to see you. Happy Yule. Yuletide blessings to you. I was asking in the room if anybody was a Yule virgin. If anybody had not done Yule before, and there were quite a few hands. How many of you online have not done Yule, have not celebrated Yule before? Very curious. Would love to know. A lot of you have not done Yule before. Okay, well, so you're going to learn a lot tonight. I'm going to teach you a little bit about the history of Yule, just a smidge, because we only have an hour together. I've got a beautiful meditation for you. If we were doing proper Yule ritual, I would build a fire for you. And I can't do that here, because Sage Goddess is next to a fire station. As you know, you'll probably hear a fire truck or two as we go through. The irony of Sage Goddess being next to a fire station and me being a double fire sign and me being a pyromaniac liking to burn things all the time, and me having actually built a business, right? Like, this is what I do for a living, burning things. The irony of all these things is really, really clear to me. Okay, I am speaking up. I don't want to sound like I'm yelling at people, so please turn your sound up on your computer, or just make sure other things are turned down. Make sure your speakers are turned up for me, please. And I will keep my voice up as well. If you can't hear anything, I've got staff who are online and watching the feed, so they'll try to help you, walk you through the technical challenges you might be having. So happy Yule to you. I'm so glad you're here. You will need some tools tonight. If you have the candles for tonight, then you're ready. I'm going to talk to you about how to use these. Blessing perfume is the perfume for tonight, and then we have gems that we're working with. We're going to really work with these stones tonight. I chose them for a reason. We have ocean jasper in the set tonight. You don't have to have these, but I'm telling you what I'm working with so you know. We have citrine, natural citrine, because that's my favorite form. More than 90% of the citrine on the market is heat-treated amethyst, which doesn't bring the money. It brings peace and all kinds of other things. It doesn't bring the money. So we're doing prosperity work tonight with this citrine because this is the blessing session of the year. And one of the blessings, I asked you actually, I did research with you to say, what are the blessings you seek in the new year? And do you know what you said? This was like resounding across the community. Happiness, prosperity, and what do you think the third was? Not two, but that's prosperity. Health. That's what you wanted 2016 to be. So, love. Who needs love? I'm just kidding. The reason I thought abundance was a good blessing to work with is I think love is one form of abundance. And I think if you don't have an abundance of love, it doesn't matter what other kinds of abundance you have. Do you know what I mean? I know a lot of people with a lot of money are very unhappy. They have no one to share all the good things that they have with. I know a lot of people who have very little money and are very happy. And they have a lot of loved ones. Abundance looks like different things. This, my friends, is Tibetan quartz. And it is, let me tell you, when I was very sick a few years ago, the healer I worked with said if you work with no other healing stone, if you work with no other healing stone, that's a big statement. That's a big statement. The journey that Tibetan quartz goes on to get to you is impossible. It is impossible. Tibetan quartz comes from the Himalayan mountains in Tibet. It is inaccessible except for about 3 weeks out of the year. And Tibetan quartz, the closest mine to any road, is between 15 and 20 miles. And it's up the steepest mountains you can imagine. I mean, it's impossible to get to you. It's almost a miracle that you have it in your hand. And so Tibetan quartz is quartz with these black inclusions. And you know what the healer told me? He said, people will go into a store looking for healing stones, and they will walk right by Tibetan quartz because it's not pretty. I mean, I gave you really pretty polished pieces. A lot of times it's rough and kind of dirty looking, and people will just walk right by it, and then they'll find out about it, and they'll be rushing for the bin, right? Like, would you have Tibetan quartz? You have Tibetan quartz? When they find out about it. But they'll walk by it because it just looks like dirty quartz. Have you realized, I'm sure you have, that a lot of the things that are most healing for you are not the sparkliest or the prettiest or the clearest. Clear quartz doesn't interest me at all. But like big, kind of gnarly, included, cloudy quartz is sexy time to me. I will take that over anything. If you were to walk through here at SG, you're not going to find, I have beautiful generators. You won't see a single one that's clear. What's really scary is in a lot of the Asian countries, they're manufacturing quartz. You know that? And how do you know it's manufactured? There's not a thing in it. There's no lines, there's no fractures, there's no inclusions. I mean, it is ice clear. And people get so excited. Oh, I want that. And it's like, I'll take Tibetan. So anyway, long story. I'm a storyteller, you know, so bear with me while I digress a little bit. So what is Yule? If you think about, you know, the wheel of the year, the Celtic wheel of the year, and Yule is one of the high holidays in the Celtic wheel. If you think about what tonight was for our ancestors, who really were farmers, right? I don't know about you, but it's only, how many generations back is it for you to farmers? For me, it is one generation back. Anybody more than 3 generations back to farmers? More than 5 generations back to farmers? More than 7 generations back to farmers? I'm just curious. Okay. There are some in the room. Count your generations back to farming. It'll be an interesting exercise for you. I'm 1 generation back to farming, and I'm very proud of that. You know, my family were grape farmers on Crete. They made wine, and their wine farm. They were very proud of their wine farm. They had a little store, and during the war, it was all destroyed through air raids. So I'm 1 generation away from war as well, and famine and death, and a lot of things that are very scary. Our ancestors, this time of year, this was a scary time of year. My dad's still alive, and the stories he tells are just gut wrenching. This time of year was really scary because the crops had come in, and it was either a great year or it was not a great year. Do you know what I mean? And that's why harvest is so significant. When we celebrate the harvest, we all say, "Oh, harvest," and we go get fake corn and we light an orange candle. Some of us, right? And we have empathy, but we don't realize that for our ancestors, this was the real deal. If the crops weren't good, the wintertime was very scary because they could end up without food. And so I'm bringing this up because at Yule time is the time to reflect and to understand that within your line, maybe not so far back, your ancestors were facing the shortest of days right now. They could not be outside farming after 4 or 5 p.m., right? They were with their families, there was no light, and they may have been very worried at this time of year about how they were going to get through the rest of the season. After tonight, the days grew longer and there was hope, right? Am I bringing this to life for you a little bit? Mm-hmm. After tonight, there was hope. The days were going to grow longer. The ice was going to thaw. They could start to do blessing ceremonies over the seeds, which they would do, and start to think about the quality of the land now. Can we till this land? Can we fertilize this? Can we afford to fertilize the soil? Anything that died back last year, do you think that there's still life in it? Can we pray over it to try and regenerate life? And before too long, I mean, inside of Imbolc is the next holiday that's coming up, February 1st. Imbolc was the first sign of life. Imbolc was the tiny little green shoots on the branches. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you have fruit trees? You like see the first little buds right around February 1st. Imbolc means in the belly, and Imbolc is when animals get pregnant. And March 21st is the spring equinox when animals give birth, and when I also tend to give birth. I have 2 kids born within a week of the equinox. I was right on time. That was not planned. But anyway, I digress. But tonight could have been a dark, kind of scary time for our ancestors, and certainly from my family, the stories that they tell was that this was a scary time of the year. But it was a time when, if they were people of faith, there was a fire in their heart. Do you know what I mean? And so they would gather tonight, the longest night of the year, cuddle up with their families, which I want you to do. Go home and cuddle with somebody. I don't know who you're going to cuddle with, but you can come cuddle at my house if you're lonely. Cuddle up with somebody, cats, people, whatever. I have cats and people, so I'll be doing both of those now. My cats are often more eager to cuddle than my people, but that's okay. Cuddle up, huddle up, and at least light 1 candle tonight from home. And light that candle in honor of the fact that hope remains. Now, you may not be a farmer, but you had crops this year, didn't you? And some of the crops made it and some didn't, right? I mean, I don't know. I had some crops that made it and some crops didn't. And I'm trying to be grateful for the ones that didn't. Do you understand what I mean by that? I'm trying really hard to be grateful for the ones that didn't. It's hard. Because when you grow a crop, you obviously want it to thrive. And when it doesn't, you have to release. So here's what tonight's about. I'm taking you into the forest in our meditation. We're going to build a Yule fire together. And I'm going to ask you to do 3 things. This is what I let my guides decide what the meditations are, okay? They've asked me to do 3 things. One is they'd like you to make an offering. They tell me that in our meditation there'll be an altar in the middle of this forest that I'm taking you to. They would like you to leave an offering there. It should be an intention, a wish, a gesture. You can draw a symbol. When I get you there, you can draw a symbol if you want, something. But think about it now. What's the offering? If you're going to receive, you always have to give something. Everything in the universe is balanced, right? Okay. Then you're going to leave something. You're going to release something into the fire tonight. Something from 2015 that you need to let go of tonight. And you in your heart know what that is. What the guides told me in my meditation was, don't overthink it. This shouldn't be hard. If you can't figure out what it is, then stop thinking and you'll know what it is. You know what I mean? Like it's something you need to let go of. And then you're going to receive something. And you're to ask for a blessing tonight upon something in your life that you want to grow next year. Now, the magic that I wove into the tools for tonight is the intention that there are 2 blessings within these candles. You're supposed to keep one and give one to somebody else. Did you know that? One for you, one for somebody else. You choose. I want you to, before you burn your candles, I want you not to burn both tonight. I want you to choose one that you're gonna burn. Anybody already gift theirs? Wonderful. If not, after tonight, this would be a great Christmas gift if you celebrate Christmas. And by the way, I want to say this publicly. I think there's space in your heart to believe in all the things. Do you know what I mean? I believe in God, and I celebrate the birth of Christ. That may sound like a crazy thing to you, but I like to say it because sometimes people will come to me and say, "I'm kind of embarrassed to say that I believe in that." I don't think so. I've had real experiences with Christ's energy in my life, like real experiences. Like I could tell you, and it would blow your mind. So if that's real to you, maybe you celebrate Christmas like I do, and maybe you celebrate the birth of Christ. So I don't think you have to be embarrassed to say that. Is that okay? I like to put it out there. Okay. I was raised a devout Christian, and I will tell you, I kind of rebelled. I was that kid who was like, don't put your stuff on me, Grandma. No, I really was. I was like, I was a rebel. Because I do think I've had a past life as a priestess and all these things, and my mom and my grandma identified it very early on in me. They're mediums and channels, they're very powerful women. And they were like, you have the gift too, but maybe it comes from God. Why do you have to think that your gifts comes from somewhere else? And I was like, I don't know where my gifts come from, and I've had enough, and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to go to church anymore. My grandma looked at me one day, and she's been gone for 20 years now. But she looked at me one day and she said, one day you will have your own experience, and I won't have to teach you anymore. And that woman was very wise. And she looked at me one day, and I'll stop digressing after this, but I feel really called to tell you this. She looked at me one day and she said, one day you will be very afraid. And one day you will remember what I'm telling you now. And I looked at her like a kid, because I was a kid, and I said, Grandma, I'm not afraid. And she looked at me and she said, no, but you will be. I'll never forget that moment. And she said, when you're afraid, this is what you should do. And there came a time I was doing some things, some energy work, and I didn't do it the right way, and I unleashed something I shouldn't have unleashed. And I did what she said to do. And I swear to you, I had an experience with Christ's energy that was more profound than anything I'll ever be able to describe to you personally in words. But after that moment, and my grandma was gone at that time. She'd been gone for a long time. But I looked up and said, you're right, Grandma. And thank you for teaching me. And thank you for letting the energy teach me. Thank you for not pushing so hard. You know what I mean? So, whatever path you walk that path. And you don't be afraid to tell people about it. They don't have to walk your path. And I never tell people what to believe. What I like to tell people is experience it. If you don't know what's true, ask to be shown what's true. And then let that be the way. Okay. So are you ready? And by the way, our full moon rituals starting in January take a whole new life. Okay. So every month in 2016, we're starting a goddess. Are you excited about this? I'm excited about this. We're starting with, does anybody know who we're starting with? No, that wasn't just me trying to lick you. That was me giving you a hint. Kali Ma. Okay. Kali is a fire goddess who destroys and creates. Yeah. So she's the goddess of rebirth. And we begin with Kali. So I'll tell you more about Kali and what to expect at the end of January when we're done here tonight. Her energy, we're not ready for her yet. And she's not ready for us yet. Okay. So I'm going to smudge really quickly. I included a smudge bundle in your set this month. Would you like it? No, all handmade. And what's really sweet is the herbs either come from my backyard or my parents' backyard. That's sweet. All of them. And they're old trees. These are old trees that my family has been taking care of for almost 30 years. So you're really getting a piece of my heart with the smudge. And I hope you loved it. I'm so glad you liked it. Really, heart and soul went into these bundles, so they're very magical. And there's larkspur in these bundles. Larkspur can connect you with a lost love. Yeah. It can connect you with a lost love, but it can also connect you with a part of your soul, your spirit that's been lost. If you're trying to reconnect with part of yourself from a long time ago, that's a beautiful smudge for you to use. Okay. So we're going to begin. I wrote a new directional invocation for tonight, and what that means is I call to the 4 directions. It's a part of a Native American tradition, also a Celtic and Pagan tradition, to open our space together. Okay. So when you're ready, take a good deep breath. Let's go ahead and inhale together. And exhale. Let's do that one more time as a group. Go ahead and inhale. And exhale. That wasn't loud enough. Let's go ahead and inhale. Exhale. Ah, so good. That's when I like it. Roll your shoulders back. And sit however is comfortable for you, but I would like you to have your hands on your knees with your palms facing up for me. That's the receptive position for energy work. So thankful for each of you and your presence tonight in the circle. So grateful that you're here. This is sacred and holy week for so many people around the world. Even if it's not your set of traditions, you must recognize that for the many millions of people who celebrate, that alone raises a vibration that affects you. So I want you to imagine that out of your left palm extends a white beam of light that's about 4 to 6 inches in diameter. I want you to feel that beam of light in the palm of your hand. And your palm might feel warm when you think about this beam of light. You can give it a texture if you'd like. That white beam of light extends out of your left hand, leaving your body, and it enters the right hand of the person who's seated next to you, either in the virtual circle or in the literal circle here tonight. And it extends into their right hand, it enters them, it moves through their energy centers, flows out their left hand and into the right hand of the person next to them. And that's how the beam of light, the energy of this circle, winds its way around the circle that unites us tonight. Just watch it wind its way clockwise around the circle. And as you track it energetically, send into that beam of light some unconditional love tonight. Send peace tonight. Remember that anything you send into the circle will be received by you. Send healing into the circle tonight. And just appreciation, happiness, gratitude for this moment. This moment is so good. That's one of my mantras. This moment is so good. I don't know what the next moment's going to be like, but this one's really, really good. And that white beam of light will make its way back to you in your right hand. When it does, you'll be holding, really, in your hands the energy of the circle tonight. And let that energy move into your right hand, up your right arm to your right shoulder. Let it move into your body. Let it wrap its way and wind its way around your energy centers from your crown to your root chakra. Let it wind its way around your heart. If this is a lonely season for you and you're missing someone tonight, Just know that we're holding you with love in a circle. A lot of us are missing someone tonight. Some of us are missing many someones tonight. But we see you and we know that you're there. You're not alone because you have us. And with that, our circle is open. And keep your eyes closed while I read the directional invocation to you. And I'll post this for you in the group too if you'd like to have it. At this wintertide moment, we honor the release of what has been, the existence of what is, and the arrival of what is to come. All hail the sun god as he returns to the arms of his morning goddess. Their reunion shall be swift, and in celebration, the days will grow longer now to highlight their embrace, and so it is. This evening, as we gather to celebrate the bounty of our blessings, I call to the four directions and the guardians of the elements to be with us. I call first to the direction of east, element of air. Citrine and selenite, breezes and gusts in the desert, our ability to flow and trust. As we begin what is new, release what is dead, and allow all to pass through. As our ancestors have done for centuries before us, as our children will do for centuries after us, honor our work this Yuletide night. Call next to the direction of south, element of fire, carnelian, fire agate, destruction, rebirth. As we burn clean what has kept us in chains, and in the ashes, we weep for what can no longer be. As our ancestors have done for centuries before us, and our children will do for centuries after us, honor our work this Yuletide night. I call next to the direction of west, element of water, highlight, sapphire, tears of sadness and sorrow. The wisdom they birth as that we allow them to come and wash us clean, cleansing and restoring us. As our ancestors have done for centuries before us, our children will do for centuries after us, honor our work this Yuletide night. I call last to the direction of north, element of earth, onyx, petrified wood, trees in the ancient forests, and the wisdom of our ancestors. Be here with us tonight, element of earth, and guide our way from darkness to light. As our ancestors have done for centuries before us, our children will do for centuries after us. Honor our work this Yuletide night. My wish for you tonight and always, my friends, is that the precious balance of these four elements will make itself known to you. All hail the return of the sun and our ancestors. May their wisdom and spirit live on through us. As they have done for centuries before us, so our children will do for centuries after us. Honor our work this Yuletide night. And together we say, Amen, Aho, so it is. So it is. Okay, so I would like for you to light the candle that you are not gifting. If you don't have a candle, that's okay. I would like for you, though, if you're not actually physically lighting a candle, I'd like you to close your eyes and imagine lighting a candle, please. We're working with red and green, so I'd like you to just imagine that you're holding a red or a green candle. And really, as much as you can, imagine taking the lighter, lighting the candle. Do this with us, okay? Okay. The reason we work, by the way, with stones, perfume, and candles is that candles represent the element of air and fire. The stones represent the element of earth, and perfume represents the element of water. And so these kits hold the four directions. That's why all the tools are really, really important for you to use. So the candle is lit. And in our meditation, I'm going to ask you to imagine using your candle to help us light the fire, okay, which is why it's important that you either literally light a candle or metaphorically light a candle with us. Okay, and if you have your perfume, I already anointed myself. I sent mine around the circle. Does anybody know where the perfume is? Oh, perfect, there it is. Okay. One of the things you can do with my perfumes is you can anoint your candles, which means you can pour some of the perfume onto the wax. You don't want to pour directly into the wick, but you should pour it onto the wax. There are different energies in the perfumes than there are in the candles, so you get the combination of both. And then I like to take a little bit of the perfume and anoint my stones. So when you're using blessing perfume, you're asking for the blessing of health. You have your Tibetan quartz. You're asking for the blessing of prosperity with your citrine. And you're asking for the blessing of happiness with your ocean jasper. And I ask that the guides and guardians see us do this work tonight and send the blessings accordingly to each of us. So it is. So it is. Yes, the notes in the perfume are pine, peppermint, and honeycomb. So yummy, isn't it? It dries down to a really beautiful pine, like a really beautiful true pine. Use whatever scent speaks to you. If you have peppermint though by itself or pine by itself, that would be what I would recommend. Pine holds prosperity energy, and so does peppermint. So that's why those two are in there. Honeycomb brings happiness. So that's what that represents. Peppermint's also healing. Rosemary and mint would work for sure. Mint brings prosperity. Rosemary brings healing. You know what I mean? So those would be helpful too. Citrus would be beautiful too. I'm just discussing alternatives because it's really important to work with the oils. Citrus brings happiness. So those are some really suitable alternatives. Sage Grouse alternatives would be Snow Queen, really good alternative. Money Drops, really want to focus on prosperity, and so on. Okay. Okay, so if you have your candle lit, I'm going to anoint just with a little more perfume. The way I anoint with perfume is a little bit at my wrists, a little on my third eye, and a little touch on my ankles. And that's an old way of anointing for what I do, what I know, where I go. Yeah? And if you do that, you release energy through the top of your head, through your hands, and through your feet. So that's covering where all of the energy gets released through your body. Does that make sense? Anointing is really important, and our ancestors have done this for thousands of years. And nothing I show you is anything I've made up. This is the old ways. I'm trying to bring those traditions back to life. Okay, just come back to where your hands are on your knees with your palms up, roll your shoulders back. And by the way, somebody mentioned using what they got in the Siddharata. Perfect case for tonight. That pyrite sun and Christmas morning perfume is so good for tonight. So before we begin, I call in all the guides, all of the elders and angels and archangels to surround everyone in this room and everyone online. I ask you to come closer this evening to guide us and bring us your wisdom and protection. So I want you to imagine I'm taking you into the forest tonight, and I would love for this to be a forest that you're familiar with. Maybe a forest that you've gone into before as a child or as an adult, one near where you live or where you've vacationed or spent time before. I'd like it to be a familiar forest. If you haven't been to the forest, I want you to imagine that we're going into a wooded area, a densely wooded area with trees taller than you can see the top of. And you might imagine it's cold now in so many parts of the earth that the ground might be blanketed in snow. Maybe it's blanketed in tree limbs and moss. Let your imagination and your vision guide you as we move into this forest together. And I want you to imagine that we're walking together. Maybe your guides are joining us as well. Walking together into this forest. Notice your feet as you walk, what's beneath you. Notice the temperature. Notice the scent of the air. Entering this forest, I want you to feel surrounded by the tree spirits. It's the ancient wisdom of these trees that have been there for so long before you were born, and will be there for so long after you die. And walking through this forest, it's almost silent. Maybe you hear a bird chirping, an animal moving, wind moving through the trees. But let the silence take you. Let it bring you peace and comfort. And let the trees speak to you. You will if you're quiet enough. And as we move deeper and deeper into the forest, we come upon the very beginning of a clearing. And you can tell because the tree limbs, instead of being so close together, maybe 4 feet or 6 feet apart, now are 8 feet and 10 feet apart. And they create space as they're beginning to be further and further apart for this clearing to be exposed. And as you come upon this clearing, you automatically have a sense that the vibration of the space has changed. You know this is a sacred space you're coming to. You notice that as you come to the clearing, the trees are in a perfect circle. And then in the center, you see that there's a tree stump, maybe about 4 feet wide, maybe about 2 feet off the ground. Just a clean cut across the stump of that tree. And as you come closer to it, you can see that there are things on top of this tree that's been used as an altar space. And I've asked your guide to put items on this altar in your meditation that are specific for you. So as you move closer and you start to notice what's on the altar space, I'd like you to take note of what's there. You might see candles or gemstones, or you might see shapes or symbols carved into the wood. There's at least one item there that has significance for you in your life right now. And let yourself take a moment to just notice what's there. Is there symmetry to how the items are arranged? Do you feel like it's comfortable, safe for you to touch what's there? Or are you being guided not to touch, just to look? And let yourself come on your knees before this altar space and just quietly say a prayer of gratitude for what's gathered here for you. And what the guides would like for you to do is to leave here your offering. You're about to receive a great blessing tonight. The intention in the field has been set and set, that whatever you ask for this evening will come to pass for you, maybe not in your time, but in perfect time. In exchange for this blessing that you'll receive tonight, you're to leave something here at the altar space. And it can be an energy, it can be an experience that you're ready to release. It can be a gift. You can imagine leaving something here, a crystal or a gemstone. And what I would invite you to do is, if you're feeling called to leave something here that you actually own, I would like you to imagine leaving it here in the meditation. And when you get home tonight or tomorrow, I would like you to actually go and bury that thing in a place that means something to you, to actually make it a physical offering. Now take a moment to notice if there's anything here that you feel called to take with you tonight. Let your guides whisper to you. Is there a crystal? Is there a shape or a talisman? Is there something that you feel like you're to take with you, even just to take note of? Maybe there's a symbol here that means something for you. Maybe there's a picture of someone that you're supposed to connect with. And if there is something that you're being asked to take with you, just give a gentle word of thanks for whatever that is. When you're ready, I want you to begin to stand up from this altar space. You might just bow over the space to acknowledge it. And I want you to notice that just beyond the altar is a gathering of tree limbs. And you can tell this is where we're to build a ritual fire this evening, a Yuletide fire. And it's just a few feet from where your altar space was created for you. And I feel like in our meditation, we're all going to do this at the same time. So as you approach this gathering of limbs, I'd like you to take your candle. You can hold it up and do this, or you can just imagine doing this with your candle. And I'd like us all at one time here tonight. Take our candles and set these tree branches on fire together. And as we do this, Great Spirit, to all the guides, God, Goddess, however you think of the divine, honor our gift this evening of the fire as we prepare to release what is no longer serving us from 2015. We give thanks for the gifts of this year. We prepare to let go of what does not need to travel with us into the next year. So may the fire be lit. May the fire be lit. Let yourselves see the fire be lit and build and grow, growing from the unity of all of our candle flames together. Recognizing, of course, that the element of fire is the direction of south, it's courage, it's creativity, it's destruction, but it's also rebirth. And let yourself come close to the fire in your meditation, almost to a point where you can feel how it would feel to stand and watch. And what I'd like you to do is prepare to leave here what you're going to release this evening. And you can release it in thought. You can imagine sending that experience or that relationship or that crop that didn't survive, that loved one, the grief and mourning perhaps about a loss in your life. It's time to let go of something from this year that you don't want to take with you into 2016. You can imagine writing what it is on a slip of paper, and we'll place the paper into the fire, whatever feels right to you, as a way to release what this is tonight. Don't overthink this. The guides kept telling me as I prepared this for you tonight, don't overthink this. Let it be the first thing that pops into your mind. And don't second guess yourself. And don't try to release 10 things. I really want you to focus your energy on really one thing tonight. That you've had enough. And it's time to move on. And you are ready. You've learned the lesson, you've received the wisdom of the gifts, and now it's time to cut the cord. And guides, we ask for your help as we release this into the fire. Let's all do it together, all at once. So when you are ready, release whatever this is tonight. If you're releasing just a feeling, blow it into the fire. And try to feel the weight come off your shoulders just a little bit. If you're really letting this go, you're giving it to the fire, it will take it from you. And we ask for the support of your guides and your angels tonight to really take this from your heart and spirit this evening. We ask that whatever this is, not come forward with us, not move forward with us into the end of this year or the beginning of next. To create space for what is new, which is next for us. And so the last step for us tonight is to receive. And I really believe that's how you should always do it. You should give an offering. You should return something to the earth and then take from the earth, rather than the other way around. You shouldn't take and then say, well, then I'll give something. And that you should give first and then receive. And so for each of you tonight, the guides have something to offer you. You can either allow yourself to tune in and hear what that is, what the blessing is that they're holding for you, or you can make a wish tonight. You can let your blessing be a wish, however you prefer. If you're working with the candles have their own intention of a blessing set within them. And so you can ask to receive what has been intended for your candle as well. And make sure you tell the person who's receiving theirs that they also have a blessing set as an intention into their candle. So choose how you prefer to do this work, whether you want to receive from the guides and just be open to what's available. There's so much available to you right now. The energy of tonight is so powerful. or whether you wish to set your intention to receive. Guides, I ask that you take this minute or two to communicate with us and make clear to us what it is. And if we're casting the intention, that you raise energy for us around that intention tonight. I want you to imagine whatever this blessing is for you as clearly as you can in this moment, as if it's already happening or has already happened for you. If it's joy, feel the joy. If it's abundance, feel what that would feel like for you in your life. What would it look like for you? If it's health, what would health be like for you? What would your body feel like? What would your spirit feel like? If you're letting go of a person, how will that feel? If you're calling in a relationship, what will it feel like to be in that relationship? And I ask for all the guides, the angels, the archangels, the ascended masters, and spirits to surround us to add your blessing to the circle this evening, to support us as we manifest what we seek here, as we receive what you have created for us. We give thanks for the many blessings in our lives, but especially for this one, as it's set as an intention tonight for the year ahead. And if you have your stones, if your intention aligns with all the stones, you can hold all of the stones. If your intention aligns with one of the stones, just work with that stone. What I like to do is imagine receiving all the blessings of everybody in the circle, all the guides, all the angels, and then breathing all of that energy into the stone. And truly my wish for you is that it be so. Whatever it is you're imagining, let it be so. Let it unfold in perfect time for you. And in ways that will surprise and delight you and make you believe. That's my wish for you. No wishes for other people, okay? This is for you. You have to learn to receive. And now in sacred circles and rituals, one always stays and tends the fire until it's out. Did you know that? That's the way it goes. Usually it's the priestess or priest or the one who lights the fire stays and tends the fire until the very last ember of the fire is out. The guides are offering to do that for us tonight. And so as we prepare to leave this sacred space, it's always hard. If you're really in this zone right now, it's hard to leave because you're surrounded by an energy that's been raised on your behalf. And it's really being supported by a collective of people you may not even know, but who are holding that space and intention with you. Maybe just take one more second just to send into the circle or to send into that fire your wish for the collective, not just for you. But send in, raise that energy, and hold that energy for everybody who's here. And just as one last look to the fire, you might bow to acknowledge what's been raised. And when you're ready, turn, and I'm going to ask you to make your way back to the altar one more time. On your way out of the forest this evening, turning, acknowledging one more time the space that's been prepared for you, what was there for you, giving thanks for your guides who've come and led you here, holding the space for your intentions on your behalf. And giving thanks for what is to come for you in the new year, so many blessings you won't even be able to imagine. And as we leave the forest together, Noticing the trees now, giving thanks to the trees for being here, for holding wisdom. They echo that wisdom across time. And just beginning to notice now, again, the floor of the forest, but from the floor of the forest, noticing the temperature in the air. Noticing the scent around you. Beginning to notice that it's darker now as you leave the area that's lit by the fire, moving back into the thick of the forest where the trees are closer together. Noticing your footsteps, starting to be aware of your body. Very gently beginning to wiggle your fingers and your toes, rolling your shoulders back, turning your head from side to side. I feel such a mindfulness in the group, the collective energy around what's been let go of tonight. That seems to be really heavy for many people. So just honoring and acknowledging that. When you're ready, very gently open your eyes. And of course, I'm so curious, like, what did they leave you on the altar? I want to know all the things. And you may find, don't be surprised, I've seen this many, many times, people will imagine things, seeing things on the altar, and then the next day they're walking and what do they find? You know? That's why I said if you felt called to leave something as an offering, and you can leave it, you know, it's something that you actually have, and you're willing to do that, I think that's a beautiful gesture too. And I've done that where it was like such a clear vision of a stone I know I have, and I just went home and it doesn't be anything, you know, difficult. You can go out into your backyard and just dig a little hole and bury your stone and cover it with the earth. It's an offering. I always think one day if I sell my house and people move in and start cleaning up the backyard, they're gonna find so many magical things. Like, wow, this lady really liked to bury stuff. Or little kids, they'll be out there trying to dig the treasure, and they're gonna find treasure. Kind of funny thought. Okay. Thank you for being brave enough to do that work this evening, and for allowing your guides to move you, and for honoring the depth of tonight. Tonight really is about depth. It's about honoring how deep and broad and profound the universe is, and trusting that on this darkest night, light will return. So okay, so I'm going to have us blow out our candles before we close the circle. This is to honor the fact that the light will burn through the night, but we are going to tend the last flame. Okay, we'll do our part for this evening. So when you're ready, I like to watch my smoke. Do you know about this? Yeah. If it goes to the west, I need to focus more on the emotions. If it goes to the north, I need to receive the wisdom. If it goes to the east, there's something new coming. Mine's going slightly east. If it goes to the south, I need more courage. If it goes to spirit, I need to connect with the divine. Okay. So roll your shoulders back, close your eyes, hands on your knees, palms up. With deep gratitude, we will release the energy of the circle this evening. It came to you, that white beam of light in your right hand. So it will leave you from your right hand. So release it with grace, with gratitude from your right hand. Let it unwind counterclockwise, back the way it came. And as it does, just send one more push of love and acceptance and joy and peace. All the blessings to everybody who's here. So many in need tonight. So you really feel the love that you send, and feel it and receive it with gratitude. We see you, we honor you. This community that we have is very special. We all kind of know each other, even though our numbers have grown. So we see each other. We see each other through a lot. And I'm grateful that you're here. And if you're new, you're joining a community that will really welcome you with open arms. And so that white beam of light will come back to you in your left hand. And when it does, I like to turn my hand upside down and send that energy down into the center of the earth, You don't want to hold it. You know, the energy of a circle or a ritual or a process like this, you don't want to hold it in your body. You want to give it to the earth. The earth can take the energy from you. It knows what to do with it. We ask that you, Gaia, take this energy from the circle tonight, receive it. Energy isn't created or destroyed. It will just be transformed and received in different ways. So take this energy on our behalf and transfer it to those who are in need. And we thank her for this evening. So it is. So good. So good. Yeah. So good. And that's how we do solstice around here. How we do. I'm so glad that you all are with me, all of you in the room and all of you online. So grateful for your presence. It means the world to me. It means the world to people who are here too. We need this. And I want to honor you too. And I always say this, but you know, I'm a mom, I have 2 kids, I'm a wife, I have animals, I have people, I have things. A crazy day job, as you know. It'll all be here in an hour. I always tell people, don't think about it for now. Your spirituality is your job. And trust me, I promise you, you will live a longer and happier life if you give yourself an hour a month, which is all I ask for you. Unless you're in my classes and I ask for like 5 hours a month. But if you're just here for full moon, just give yourself the hour a month. Seriously, the kids will be there. They'll still be screaming. The food will still won't be cooked. Whatever. But life will go on. But your soul will be fed. It's really important for you to replenish yourself and to connect. And this is one way to do it. So I'm very, very happy. So let me tell you about January. So we are starting with our goddess series. There's 2 things I want to tell you about because they're both really limited. And as you know, these ritual sets are really important. I don't know if you noticed, but the new ritual sets are in the shop today, and we've dropped the price like $20 a lot. They're 30% less now than they were all the way up in the beginning of time until today. The ritual sets are now $55 for perfume, herbs, gemstones, and candle. And you can use your program discounts if you have that. Okay, so this is Kali. What's really cool about the candle, we've already started burning it, we love it so much. This is original art made here at Sage Goddess, which is really cool. We're really proud of that. Everything right down to the labels is created here. And so eventually we're going to have, you know, handbags and posters and all kinds of things to honor the different goddesses at the end of the year. But this is our own Kali, which you're looking at. Isn't she beautiful? I did it. So, and there's an indication on the candle. What we're doing in my classes next year is we're doing something called Herbwise. I'm finally teaching about herbal medicine. So everything that's in here, I'm going to be teaching about dragon's blood and roses and jasmine and different resins that go along with Kali. So these are all of her herbs in this little tin. Then you receive the perfume, which is dragon's blood and jasmine with a beautiful perfume. I'll pass it around if anybody wants to smell what Kali smells like. I'm pretty sure. I can't smell her, but I've got so much stuff on. Let me see. Let me see if this is actually the full perfume before I pass it around. And then there's the gemstones for Kali. You're getting fake gemstones in that too. I don't want to give away too much because that's really special. So that's Kali. Those are really limited. We only have 300 sets, which sounds like a lot, but there's 300 women in my programs. We're using that for their class. So if you want one, there's 2 ways to get it. You can subscribe and get every full moon set for the whole year. So you just subscribe and they'll come to you automatically. Or you can buy them one by one. And so there's 2 options. And the other thing I wanted to show you is we have what we're calling a Divine 9 set. This came to me in meditation. This exact Merkaba star. This is again art that we designed here at Sage Goddess. There's Divine 9 perfume. And then you're getting a wand that we made here at the shop, which is a Tibetan smoky quartz wand with an aura chalcedony rose on it that's wire wrapped. It's hard to even show you on the camera what that looks like. Do you see that? So that whole set is in the shop too. This is holding the energy of the new year. Next year is a 9 year, which is the completion of a cycle. Did you know that? 2 + 0 + 1 + 6 is 9. And so Divine 9 is about honoring that 9 energy. So if you want to do something for the new year, that's the new year kit. And it's all in the shop right now. I know, not to overwhelm you, but those are limited, and I want to make sure you know about them. So the next set is Kali. That's for full moon ritual next month, and all of my online classes. We're going to be learning about gems, herbs, and so on. And then Divine 9 is for the new year. Does that help? Completion. So this year was abundance of all the things. There should have been a lot of things happening in your life. Next year is about tying up loose ends. Here's what I know about next year. Next year will not let you go. I promise you this, Alex. I'll hold you to it for this time next year. Next year will not let you go until you've wrapped up the loose ends. What I understand from my own guides and my own meditation is, I think if you had old relationships that you didn't close the loop, I think you're going to have the people come back into your life to finish that up. And I'm sorry, but that's what I've been told. So you're going to be seeing people this next year that you haven't seen in a long time. I'm telling you. You're going to have to wrap up the loose ends. So what I'm trying to do with ritual tools is help you create space for that. Like, how do I do that with grace? And I don't have the answers. If those people show up in my life, I'm going to run. I don't know. No, but I mean, we all have those relationships where we didn't tie up the loose ends, and I think the universe is going to hold us accountable and have us do that. I don't think it's going to hold everybody accountable, but if you're doing this work, you don't get off the hook. Do you know what I mean? Have you found that? I don't get off the hook for anything. Do you? I don't get off the hook for anything. So the universe is going to have those people show up at your door and ask you with grace to tie up that loose end. It's not going to ask you to live it over again or like do it over again, but it is going to ask you to put some closure and some finality before you can move on to the next phase. Does that make sense? I don't know what that means for Mother Earth, by the way. Have you seen? I follow Aquarius Nation. I read all her reports and everything. I mean, there are all these, people are proposing that next year we'll see some major shifts on the planet itself. Very well could be. I don't know. I read everything just like you do. But what I've been told is it's the relationship piece. And for a lot of people, it's going to be career transitions too. Like if the universe has been saying, knock, knock, you need a new job. Knock, knock, you need a new job. Knock, knock, you need a new job. And you've been like, I'll just stay here doing what I'm doing. You're not going to be allowed to do that. Yeah, the universe will like take you out of there or put you somewhere else. Don't say I didn't told you so, right? So anyway, and if 2015 wasn't your favorite year, guess what? I think 2016 is going to be much better. I really do. If 2015 was the year of hard knocks, I think the first 6 months of those full moons, they kicked my butt. I don't know if they kicked your butt. The second half of this year has been a little bit better, but not much. I think 2016 is going to be about, now it's adjusted you. Do you know what I mean? It's going to rub in you and pushing your muscles and moving your limbs around, and now it's going to like smooth it all out and say, this is why we did all this. Now it's going to make sense to you. You know what I mean? I really believe what I'm telling you right now. So anyway, we'll see. Hopefully you'll stick with me and we'll see if I'm right about next year. Okay. A lot of blessings to people in the feed are talking about just all the transitions they've been through this year, and I see you. I see you, and it's hard. So our next ritual is January 23rd. Save the date. That is the full moon. It is Saturday. I hope you can be here in person. If you're in person, or be with me online. That will be a rebirth ritual with Kali. We're gonna burn some stuff. she's not a tender goddess. Do you know what I mean? Like Kali's a real thing. That's why I'm telling you, we're not ready for it yet. She wants us to go have Christmas and eat turkey and whatever and be with our families, and then she'll burn it after all that. So I hope you're excited about working with Kali. And then we're going to move through the year. I'm not going to reveal the goddesses until the day of the full moon. That's when you'll know the next one. Isn't that fun? So the 12 are planned, and they're gorgeous, and they're beautiful. And we have goddesses next year from every pantheon. Aztec, Mayan, Mesopotamian, Egyptian, Greek, Roman, Celtic, Norse. They're all there. Good goddesses. They're all good, but some are better than others. I don't believe Athena's in the mix. It seemed weird to me. Maybe she'll come in 2017. Who knows? I'm a little over her. You know what I mean? So I've lived her for 42 years. So I'm a little done for right now. We have enough wisdom around these parts. We need some other things, right? Okay. All right. Namaste, everybody. Merry Christmas to you. Happy Yule. I really, truly, I wish you peace with your families. I wish you blessings. I wish you love. I wish you abundance and health. May the entire season be a blessing to you. And I'll see you in January. Bye, everybody. Yay!